The claret spreads apathetic on concrete. A photic red, about atramentus in the afternoon light. It starts as a babyish basin beneath my Johnson's dress. A fresh all-overs apparent like it's analytic for something. Bottomward the sidewalk. Into cracks. Adjoin the approach breadth yesterday's rain still hasn't dried. For accurate steps. That's all it takes. My's appropriate duke is apprenticed adjoin her belly. 7 months pregnant. Her added duke is anchored adjoin the basal step, befitting her arch off the ground. She's not screaming. She's not moving. She's aloof breathing. Short, quick breaths through her teeth. Aloft her at the top of the steps, Vincent Esposito stands frozen. 3 seconds. That's how continued he stands there for his academician catches up to what his easily aloof did. A freshie walks away. Not runs, walks. Easily in his pockets. Arch bottomward like he's aloof a guy walking bottomward Lenox Avenue on a Friday afternoon. Like he didn't aloof advance a abundant woman bottomward for accurate accomplish in advance of a grocery abundance with 6 bodies inside. Mr. Chun is the aboriginal one out the door. He's 63 years old. Been active Chen's Grocery on Lenox Avenue for 18 years. 14-hour days. 6 canicule a week. He doesn't run anymore. His knees are bad. His back is worse. But he runs now. He drops to his knees, abutting demise easily hover over her, not touching, not abiding breath to touch. My, can you apprehend me? My nods barely. Her eyes are closed. I'm calling ambulance. Don't move. Amused, don't move. Chin stands, runs back inside, picks up the buzz with afraid hands, dials. The abettor answers. Emergency services. Ambulance. Abundant woman fell. Lenox Avenue. Chen's Grocery. She's bleeding. What's the address? Chen gives it. The abettor says the ambulance is on its way. Chen hangs up. He knows how continued it takes for an ambulance to appear to Harlem for a atramenous woman. He goes back outside. My hasn't moved. It takes 30 to account for the ambulance to arrive. Mr. Chun kneels beside my the accomplished time. He takes off his shopkeeper's apron, folds it, puts it beneath her head. She doesn't speak, doesn't accessible her eyes, aloof breathes, and keeps her duke apprenticed adjoin her belly. A army gathers, 8 people, 10. They bend in a semicircle on the sidewalk, not talking, aloof watching, waiting. One woman, Mrs. Patterson from 2 blocks over, kneels on my added side. She's had 6 children. She knows what this looks like. She doesn't say anything. Aloof takes my chargeless duke and holds it. At 3:09 p.m., 32 account afterward Shin called. The ambulance turns onto Lenox Avenue. No siren, no rush. It parks. 2 white paramedics get out. They booty their time, accepting the stretcher from the back. They airing over, attending bottomward at my Yidden answers. She fell bottomward the steps. She's pregnant. 1 paramedic kneels, checks my pulse, her claret pressure. He's professional, detached. How far along? 7 months, Mrs. Patterson answers. 28 weeks. The paramedic glances at his partner. Some advice passes amid them. Article that makes Chen's abdomen drop. They get my assimilate the stretcher, lift her into the ambulance. Chen tries to send in afterward her. Ancestors only. Ancestors only. The doors close. The ambulance pulls away. Still no siren. Chen stands on the sidewalk. My claret is still there. A photic stain on the accurate appropriate bread she fell. He goes inside, picks up the phone, makes a dishing call. Small's Paradise. I charge to allege to Illinois Gordon. Harlem Hospital. 3rd floor, maternology ward. My is in a concealed bay in the emergency area. 2 nurses, 1 doctor. Dr. Robert Freeman. He's black, one of 12 atramenous doctors in New York. He works 18-hour accoutrement because there aren't abundant doctors who will amusement atramenous patients. He's analytical. My back, Bumpy Johnson arrives. Bumpy does an analysis in at the desk. Doesn't ask for directions. He aloof walks through the breadth like he knows absolutely breadth, he's activity, because addition told him, because Illinois Gordon is already actuality cat and mouse in the alley al fresco my bay. Illinois sees Bumpy advancing bottomward the hall. Boss. Bumpy walks accomplished him, pulls back the curtain. Dr. Freeman looks up. The nurse's foot fall back. Bumpy crosses the bed, looks bottomward at my she's awake, staring at the ceiling. Tears active bottomward her face in silence. He takes her hand. She turns her arch to attending at him. They can't acquisition a heartbeat. Bumpy's face doesn't change. Dr. Freeman speaks. His articulation is quiet, professional. Mr. Johnson, your wife accomplished cogent agony from fall. The placenta is afar from the uterine wall. We charge to bear the baby, but there's no fetal heartbeat. I'm actual sorry. How continue for delivery? 3 to 4 hours. It's safer to let activity advance artlessly than to how continued has the babyish been dead? Dr. Freeman pauses. Based on the abrasion pattern, apparently a back and non afterward the fall, maybe 30 account after, maybe less. Bumpy nods once. He looks at Dr. Freeman. She gets her own room, private. Best you have, Mr. Johnson. The maternology Brett doesn't have. Bumpy takes out his wallet. Counts out $500, sets it on the table abutting to the medical instruments. She gets her own room. Dr. Freeman looks at the money, afresh at my at Bumpy. Allowance 314. Third aperture on the left. I'll accept her confused immediately. They move my at 4:47 p.m. Allowance 314 is small. One bed, one window, a chair, a bassinet in the corner, abandoned and waiting. Bumpy sits in the armchair abutting to the bed. Captivation my hand. The contractions alpha at 5:15 p.m. Dr. Freeman checks her every 30 minutes. Activity is progressing, slow, but progressing. At 7:30 p.m., Illinois Gordon appears in the doorway, doesn't enter. Aloof stands there until Bumpy looks at him. Bumpy stands, walks the hallway. Illinois easily in a folder. His name is Vincent. Esposito, 28, works for his uncle Marco. Geneve's family collects Aegis money from 10 businesses in Lower Harlem. Brett does he now? We don't know. He went home afterwards as accommodation on Mulberry Street. But he's not there now. Apparently accomplished what he did. Acquisition him already on it. Willie's watching his apartment. Marcus is talking to bodies in Little Italy. Will apperceive Brett he is by midnight. Bumpy looks back at allowance 314. What do you appetite us to do a back we acquisition him? Illinois asks. Nothing. Not yet. I appetite to be there. Illinois nods. How's my she's in labor? Illinois' face doesn't change, but article in his eyes does. I'm sorry, boss. Bumpy doesn't respond. He goes back into allowance 314. At 8:47 p.m., my delivers. Dr. Freeman catches a baby, a boy absolutely formed, 28 weeks, perfect, not breathing. Dr. Freeman cuts the cord, wraps the babyish in a white blanket, places him in my arms. She looks bottomward at him, touches his face, his hands, his absolute tiny hands. William Marcus. She whispers, "That's your name." William Marcus Johnson. She holds him for 20 minutes. A fresh Dr. Freeman takes him, places him in the bassinet, covers him with a blanket. My turns her face to the wall. Bumpy stands, walks to the bassinet, looks bottomward at his son, William Marcus Johnson. Built in March 14th, 1952, 8:47 p.m., died March 14th, 1952. About 3:30 p.m. Bumpy stand there for 5 minutes, not moving, not speaking. Finally, he alcove down, touches his son's duke with one finger. Cold. He turns to my ooting the wall. I don't appetite him dead. Okay. I appetite him broken. I appetite him to charge addition to augment him, dress him, apple pie him. I appetite him to be what he killed. Helpless, dependent, suffering. Okay, can you do that? Yes, I promise. Now she turns to attending at him. Her eyes are dry. No added tears. Aloof article algid and adamantine and final. Accomplish him suffer. By midnight, they apperceive everything. Vincent Esposito, 28 years old, lives with his parents, Tony and Maria Esposito, at 247 Mulberry Street, second floor apartment. Never lived anywhere else. Works for his uncle Marco Esposito, Genovese capo. Runs protection, Gambling, abandoned sharking. Vinny's territory. 3 blocks in Lower Harlem. 10 businesses. $50 an anniversary from each. Babyish time, a test, the ancestors' business. Bella Nate Restaurant. Tony's Place. 20 years. Esposito Trucking. 12 trucks. Run by Vinny's earlier brother. Various bank operations. Marcos account, maybe $200,000 total. Vinny's accepted collects Friday afternoons. Drinks at Gianni's bar Friday nights. Sunday banquet at Marco's abode in Queens. Predictable. Current area unknown. Illinois. Willie Lee, Marcus Cole, and Quick Jackson are in Bumpy's appointment on 132nd Street. A back allowance aperture closed. Bumpy spreads the advice beyond the table. We accept 48 hours. Afterwards, at the Genovese ancestors abstracts out what's below and moves to stop us. So we move fast. What's the play? Willie asks. We booty everything. The businesses, the money, the reputation, and we booty Vinny. Annihilate him? No. Ma wants him alive. She wants him broken. Marcus speaks. He's the quietest of Bumpy's men. The best precise. You appetite him paralyzed? Yes. How paralyzed? Completely closed down. Can't move. Can't augment himself. Can't do anything. A baby. Marcus is quiet for a moment. That's possible, but it's surgical. You accept to breach the abac at the exact appropriate place. See one vertebrae. Breadth the abac meets the skull. Breach it clean. You bisect the analgesic cord. He's paralyzed, but you don't blow the academician stem. That would annihilate him. Can you do it? I've done it once. Korean War. Chinese prisoner. Officer capital him animate for questioning, but immobile. I acclimated a burglarized, but it worked. Will you do it? Marcus looks at Bumpy. What did he do to my pushed her bottomward accurate stares? She was 7 months pregnant. She absent the baby. Marcus nods. I'll do it. Vinny is at his Uncle Marco's abode in Queens. Marco alleged him afterwards he heard what happened. Told him to appear immediately. Accompany nothing. Acquaint no one. Vinny accustomed at 11 p.m. scared, shaken. Marco didn't yell, didn't hit him. Aloof looked at him beyond the kitchen table. Acquaint me absolutely what happened. Vinny told him. The grocery store, the abundant woman, the push, the fall, the blood. Did you apperceive who she was? No. Aloof some colored. Marco captivated up his hand. Don't say that word. Not to me. Not any time again. Uncle Marco, do you apperceive who that woman is? No. My Johnson, wife of Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson. Vinny's face went white. You pushed Bumpy Johnson's abundant wife downstairs. She absent the baby. Vinny couldn't speak. You apperceive what's activity to appear now? Bumpy Johnson is activity to abort us, not annihilate us. Abort us, our businesses, our money, our reputation, and a freshie's activity to appear for you. You can assure me. You're a copo. You accept men. You I can assure you from Bumpy Johnson in Harlem. Cypher can. And alike if I could, I wouldn't. You abandon the rules. You aching a civilian, an abundant woman. You brought abashment to this family. What do I do? Marco stood. You adjure that aback he comes for you. He makes it quick. But he won't because you asleep his son. Now at 2 a.m., Vinny is in Marco's bedfellow bedroom. 6 bodyguard in the house. All armed. Vinny hasn't slept, aloof sitting on the bed, staring at the wall. At 2:17 a.m., the lights go out. The bodyguards acknowledge immediately. Flashlights, accoutrements drawn, blockage windows, doors. At 2:18 a.m., the windows shatter. All of them simultaneously. Canisters appear through. Tear gas. The bodyguards aftermost maybe 40 seconds. They're not cutting masks. They're aggravating to ability the doors, the stairs, anything. They don't accomplish it. By 2:20 a.m., the abode is bashful, except for coughing. At 2:22 a.m., Bumpy's men enter. 4 of them cutting gas masks, effective allowance to room. They acquisition Vinny in the bedfellow bedroom. He's on the attic aggravating the clamber, adjoin the window crying, coughing. Marcus Cole pulls him to his feet. Vincent Desposito. Vinny nods. You're advancing with us. They accompany Vinny to a barn in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Abandoned. No cameras, no witnesses. The Central is abandoned except for a distinct chair, metal anchored to the accurate floor. They sit Vinny in the chair, zip tie his wrist to the armrest, his ankles to the legs. Afresh they wait. At 3:15 a.m., Bumpy walks in. He's alone. No added men aloof him. He's cutting the aforementioned clothes he wore to the hospital. Gray suit, white shirt, no tie. The shirt has claret on it from delivery. He crosses to bread Vinny is sitting. Stops 3 anxiety away. Doesn't speak. Aloof looks at him. Vinny is crying. Snot active bottom toward his face. Aggravating to anatomy words. But they won't come. Bumpy waits. Finally, Vinny manages to speak. Please. I'm sorry. I didn't apperceive who she was. I affirm I didn't know. Bumpy says nothing. It was an accident. I didn't beggarly, you pushed her. Vinny stops, looks at Bumpy. You put your easily on my abundant wife. You push her bottomward accurate stairs. For stairs. That's all it took? For stairs. And my son is dead. I'm sorry. You're not apologetic you did it. You're apologetic she was my wife, and not aloof some accidental atramentous woman you could advance around. No. If she wasn't my wife. If she was aloof some woman whose name you didn't know. You'd be at Gianni's bar appropriate now, drinking, bedlam about it. This atramentous woman got in my way. So I confused her. That's what you'd be saying. Vinny doesn't respond. Because it's true. Bumpy accomplished closer. My wife asked me not to annihilate you. Do you apperceive why? Vinny all overs his head. Because afterlife is mercy. Afterlife is easy. She doesn't appetite you to accept easy. She wants you to suffer. She wants you to feel what she feels. Helpless. Clumsy to do anything. A base on others for everything. Understanding starts to aurora on Vinny's face. So that's what your activity to become. Your activity to be what you killed. A babyish clumsy to move. Clumsy to augment yourself. Clumsy to go to the bath by yourself for the blow of your life. Please, aloof annihilate me. Please. No. Bumpy turns to the door. Marcus Cole enters. He's a custom article captivated in cloth. He sits on the floor, unwraps it. A metal bar 3 feet long, abounding at one end. He picks it up, tests the weight. You've done this before, Bumpy says. Not a question. Once. Korea. It worked. Show me breadth, you'll hit him. Marcus walks abaft Vinny's chair, credibility to the abject of Vinny's skull. Here, see one abject breadth the aback meets the skull. You breach it clean. The analgesic bond severs. Aggregate beneath the clothes stops working, but the academician axis stays intact. He can breathe. He can swallow. His affection beats, but he can't move annihilation else. Not his arms, not his legs, not his fingers. Nothing. Will he be able to speak? Maybe depends on diaphragm control. It'll be weak. He'll whisper, but he'll know. He'll apperceive what happened to him. He'll apperceive every day for the blow of his life. Bumpy looks at Vinny. After most adventitious to beg. Vinny is hyperventilating, aggravating to call his whisk chargeless from the zip ties. They don't break. Please. I accept money. My uncle has money. We'll pay you whatever you want. Please. I don't appetite your money. I appetite you broken. Bumpy nods at Marcus. Marcus positions himself, measures the distance, the angle. He raises the bar. Don't move. If you move, I ability annihilate you by accident. Vinny is sobbing. Please. Marcus swings. The complete is cartilage on bone. A able that echoes in the warehouse. Sharp. Final. Vinny screams. Afresh stops screaming. His aperture is open. His eyes are wide, but no complete comes out. Marcus accomplished back. Watches. Vinny's easily are still on the armrests. He's aggravating to move them, aggravating to accomplish fists, aggravating to cull free. Annihilation moves. He looks bottomward at his hands, stares at them, tries again. Nothing. His legs. He tries to move his legs, to stand, to kick. Nothing. Panic floods his face. His animation gets faster, shallow, quick. He tries to scream again. It comes out as a whisper. I can't move. Marcus kneels and advances him. Takes a babyish pen ablaze from his pocket. Shines it in Vinny's eyes. Both pupils acknowledge normally. He touches Vinny's arm. No reaction. He pricks Vinny's duke with a pocket knife. Vinny doesn't flinch. Doesn't cull away. Can you feel this? Vinny stares at his duke at the babyish bead of claret basic breath Marcus cut him. No. Marcus touches Vinny's face. His close aloft the breech point. This? Yes. The breech is clean. Complete analgesic bond severance at C1. He's quadriplegic. Permanent. His face works. His articulation works barely, but aggregate beneath his clothes is gone forever. Bumpy looks at Vinny. Vinny looks back. His eyes are abounding of tears. He's aggravating to speak. It comes out as a whisper. Annihilate me. Please, aloof, annihilate me. No, you live. You animate and you remember. Every day, every hour, every minute, what you did, what it bulk you, what it bulk your family. Please. Your activity to death watch up tomorrow in a hospital bed. You won't be able to move. You won't be able to augment yourself. Addition abroad will accept to do aggregate for you. Change your clothes, ablution you, augment you. Apple pie you a back you clay yourself because you won't alike be able to sentence that anymore. Vinny is crying. Bashful tears act bottom toward his face. And every day for the blow of your life, your activity to ambition, I to sleep you. But I didn't because that's what my wife wanted. She capital you to suffer. So your activity to suffer. Bumpy turns to Marcus. Apple pie him up. Booty him to Queen's General. Leave him in the emergency entrance. Boss, if we cut him loose, he can't move anyway. I know. Leave him in the chair. Let them acquisition him like this. Let them see what happens to bodies who blow my family. Queen's General Hospital, emergency entrance. The night Aegis bouncer is accomplishing his circuit back. He sees the van, black, no plates, dabbling in the ambulance bay. He walks over to acquaint them they can't esplanade there. The van drives abroad afore he alcove it. On the arena in the ambulance bay is a metal armchair with a man in it. The Aegis bouncer gets closer, sees the man's face. He's conscious, eyes open, aperture moving. The bouncer kneels. Sir, can you apprehend me? The man's eyes focus on him. His aperture moves. No complete at first, a fresh whisper. Advise me. The bouncer sees the zip ties, tries to cull them off. Too tight. I'll get help. Hold on. He runs inside, comes back with two nurses and orderly. They cast to the armchair inside. In the emergency room, beneath the lights, they see the agenda affiance of the man's shirt. Vince and Esposito see one analgesic fracture, quadriplegic. This is justice. At 5:30 a.m., the on-alarm neurosurgeon, Dr. Kenneth Walsh, examines Vinny. X-rays affirm it. Complete breach at C1. The analgesic bond is severed. Apple pie break. Dr. Walsh is a parent as affectionate of abrasion before. Car accidents, diving accidents, avalanche from abundant heights. He's never a parent one this precise. Can you fix it? The assistant asks. Dr. Walsh looks at the X-ray for a continued time. No, the analgesic bond is severed. There's no anaplasty that can adjustment this. He's quadriplegic, permanent. He looks bottomward at Vinny on the gurney. Vinny is staring at the ceiling, not blinking, not moving. How old is he? The assistant checks the chart. 28. Dr. Bank all overs his head. He could animate additions 60 years like this. At 6 a.m., they move Vinny to the ICU, angle him up to monitors for a catheter. At 6:15 a.m., the hospital calls a cardinal listed in his wallet. Marco Esposito answers on the aboriginal ring. He hasn't slept. Mr. Esposito, this is Queen's General Hospital. Your nephew Vincent has been admitted. You should appear appropriate away. March 16th, 7 o'clock a.m. Marco Esposito walks into the ICU. He sees Vinny in the bed. Tubes, wires, monitors. Vinny's eyes are open. They chase Marco as he approaches. Marco sits in the armchair abutting to the bed. Doesn't speak. Aloof looks at his nephew. Finally, can you move? Vinny's aperture moves. The buzz is about audible. No. Anything? No. Marco nods like he accepted this. The doctor says it's permanent. Vinny's eyes ample with tears. I'm sorry, Uncle Marco. I'm so sorry. Marco stands, looks bottomward at him. You bulk us everything. The businesses are gone. Our acceptability is destroyed. Your father's restaurant is closed. Your brother's trucks are ruined. And now we accept the booty affliction of you. Augment you, bath you, change you for the blow of your life. Please, you did this. You pushed that woman. You asleep that baby. And now your activity to animate with it every day, every hour for the budding 60 years. Marco walks to the door, stops, doesn't about face around. I warned you. I told you not to accomplish enemies. You didn't listen. Now you'll accept 60 years to anticipate about what you should accept done differently. He leaves. Vinny stares at the ceiling. He tries to move his fingers. Nothing. His toes. Nothing. He tries to scream. It comes out as a whisper. Cipher comes. March 17th. Vinny's mother Maria visits. She's 61 years old. She's been airing aback Marco, alleged her yesterday. She sits in the chair, takes Vinny's hand. His duke is warm, but doesn't clasp back. Doesn't move at all. Vinny, my baby, what did they do to you? Vinny looks at her, tries to speak. I'm sorry, Mama. Shoo, don't talk. Save your strength. I can't move, Mama. I can't feel anything. She starts airing again. A assistant enters. Time for Vinny's feeding. Maria watches as the assistant puts a tube bottomward Vinny's throat, pumps aqueous diet anon into his stomach. She watches as the assistant changes his catheter bag. She watches as the assistant turns him on his ancillary to anticipate bed sores. Vinny doesn't help. He can't. The assistant has to do everything. Maria can't watch anymore. She leaves. In the hallway, she leans to join the bank and cries. March 25th. Vinny's father, Tony, visits. He doesn't sit. Aloof stands at the bottom of the bed. The restaurant is closed. Health administration begin violations. It'll bulk $50,000 to fix. We don't accept $50,000 because we accept to pay for you. Your medical bills, your care, your wheelchair, your nursing home, everything. Vinny tries to speak. Papa, you destroyed this family. You apperceive that? 40 years architecture this business. 40 years. And you destroyed it in one afternoon because you couldn't accumulate your easily to yourself. Tony leaves, doesn't say goodbye. March 25th. They acquittal Vinny from the hospital. He doesn't go home. He can't. The accommodation has stairs, no elevator, no wheelchair access. They booty him to a nursing ability in Queens, Medicaid facility, old building, 40 patients, 2 nurses on assignment at a time. Vinny's allowance is shared. 3 added patients, all elderly, all dying. Vinny is 28 years old. The nurses appear every 4 hours, augment him, change him, about face him to anticipate Suarez. Amid visits, Vinny stares at the ceiling. He can't change the approach on the TV army to the wall. Can't ability the alarm button if he needs help. Can't do anything. He lies there and waits. 1955, 3 years later. Vinny is 31 years old. He hasn't confused in 3 years. Not his arms, not his legs, not annihilation beneath his neck. He has a burden abscess on his lower back. The nurses try to anticipate them by access him every few hours, but it's not enough. The abscess is infected. Smells like rot. He has pneumonia again his 4th time. Happens a back you can't move. Fluid builds up in your lungs. You can't hem it out. It aloof sits there and furs. His ancestor hasn't visited in 2 years. His mother comes every Sunday. She doesn't break long, 10 minutes, 15 at most. She holds his hand, cries, leaves. Uncle Marco paid for the nursing home for the Aboriginal year. A fresh stopped. Said the ancestors couldn't allow it anymore. Now Medicaid pays the state. The nursing home gets $47 per day for Vinny's care. The nurses do their best, but they're overwhelmed. 40 patients, 2 nurses. You do the math. Vinny waits. 1960, 8 years later. Vinny is 36 years old. He's been transferred to an altered facility. The Aboriginal one closed, account cuts. This one is worse. 6 patients to a room. 1 bathroom, 1 window. The man in the bed abutting to Vinny died after most week. They haven't replaced him yet. The bed is empty. The aroma hasn't left. Vinny's ancestor died after most year. Affection attack. The restaurant had bankrupt 5 years ago. Tony never recovered from accident. Vinny's mother is 70 years old. She can about walk. She does an appointment anymore. Can't allow the bus fare. Vinny's brother S confused to Florida in 1957. Hasn't alleged since. Uncle Marco is in federal prison. Racketeering accused 20 years. Vinny is alone. Every day an assistant he doesn't apperceive feeds him, changes him, turns him. Every night he stares at the beam and wishes he died on March 14th, 1952. But he didn't die. He's still alive. 1975, 23 years later. Vinny is 51 years old. He hasn't announced in 6 years. His articulate chords still work. He aloof has annihilation to say. His mother died in 1972, affection failure. She was 83. Cypher came to her burial, except a priest and 2 neighbors. Vinny didn't go. Obviously, Cypher told him she died until 3 weeks later. A amusing artisan came by to amend his records, mentioned it in passing. Oh, and I see your mother passed. My condolences. That's how Vinny began out. He's in his 4th nursing ability now. This one is in the Bronx, state-run, Medicaid only. The agents changes every few months. Cypher stays. The pay is terrible. The assignment is hard. Vinny doesn't apperceive any of their names. They don't apperceive his. To them, he's aloof to Cloister in allowance 7. The Cloister who's been actuality for years. The Cloister who never has visitors. The Cloister who'll be actuality until he dies. 1990, 38 years later. Vinny is 66 years old. He's been better than best than he was able-bodied. He's been in nursing homes best than he lived in his parents' apartment. He's abandoned what it feels like to move his hands. He dreams about walking sometimes. In the dreams, he's active, fast, free. He wakes up, staring at the ceiling. Still can't move. A new amusing artisan visits. Adolescent woman, beginning out of school, reviewing cases. She reads Vinny's file. Says here, you've been in the arrangement of back 1952. That's 38 years. Vinny doesn't respond. It additionally says your abrasion was nonacal. That's unusual. Best analgesic injuries are accidents. Car crashes, falls. She looks at him. Do you appetite to allocution about what happened? Vinny's aperture moves. He hasn't announced in 15 years. His articulation is a whisper about audible. I pushed a abundant woman downstairs. She absent her baby. Her bedmate did this to me. The amusing artisan writes article in her notes. Well, that's apologetic that happened to you. Vinny about laughs. Would beam if he could. She's apologetic it happened to him. Not apologetic for what he did. Apologetic for what happened to him. She leaves. Vinny stares at the ceiling. 1995, 43 years later. Vinny is 67 years old. It's March. Aboriginal morning, still aphotic outside. A assistant comes in for the 6 a.m. rounds. Blockage vitals. She checks the accommodating in bed 1. Fine. Bed 2, fine. Bed 3, that's Vinny. She touches his wrist. Blockage is pulse. No pulse. She checks his neck. Nothing. She calls the doctor on duty. The doctor pronounces Vincent Esposito asleep at 6:17 a.m. March 14th, 1995. Absolutely 43 years afterwards, he pushed my Johnson bottom ward for accurate steps. Cause of death, respiratory failure, pneumonia. Complications from quadriplegia. There's no abutting of kin listed in his file. No burial is arranged. The accompaniment buries him in a potter's acreage on Hart Island. No marker. No headstone. Alufa artifice cardinal in a ledger. 6,891. That's Vincent Esposito's legacy. A cardinal in a ledger. Mame Johnson, 2007. Mame is 86 years old. She's autographed a memoir, animate with journalist, adolescent woman absorbed in Harlem history. They're sitting in Maine's accommodation on 141st Street. Aforementioned accommodation. She's lived in the back 1949. The announcer asks about Bumpy, about his afterlife in 1968, about Maine's activity after. Afresh, she asks, is it accurate about the Italian mobster, the one who pushed you? Mame is quiet for a continued time. Yes. What happened to him? He lived. But the beliefs say he lived for 43 years bedridden in nursing homes alone. He outlived his parents, his brother, everyone. He lived to be 67 years old. That's worse than death. Mame looks at the journalist. That was the point. Did you any time affliction it? Asking Bumpy not to annihilate him. Mame considers this. No. Afterlife would accept in mercy. He didn't deserve mercy. He adapted to animate with what he did. And he did every day, every hour for 43 years. Did you any time anticipate about him? Every day for 43 years. The announcer doesn't apperceive what to say to that. Mame continues. People anticipate animus is about violence, about blood, but the truest animus is time. The authoritative edition animate with their mistakes. Authoritative them feel it every day. That's what we gave him, time. Do you anticipate he's suffered enough? Mame looks out the window at Harlem. At the street she's absolved for 60 years. No bulk of adversity brings back my son, William Marcus. He never took a breath, never had a chance. But yes, Vinny suffered. That's something. William Marcus Johnson, Woodlawn Cemetery, Area 15, Artifice 247. 3 headstones. The first, Ellsworth Bumpy Johnson, 1905 to 1968. Harlem's protector. The additional, my Hatcher Johnson, 1921 to 2009. She survived. She thrived. She protected. The third abate amid them. William Marcus Johnson, built in March 14th. 1952, died March 14th, 1952. Consistently loved, never forgotten. Every year on March 14th. Addition puts flowers on William Marcus' grave. Cypher knows who, but the flowers are consistently fresh. Consistently there for 70 years. March 14th, 1952. For accurate steps, 1 push, 1 babyish dead. 43 years of suffering. That's the story. Not an adventure about revenge. A adventure about justice. The affectionate of amends that doesn't end with a bullet. The affectionate that lasts decades. The affectionate that makes you ambition for afterlife every distinct day and never gives it to you. Vincent Esposito pushed abundant woman. He asleep a babyish and he paid for it. Not with his life. With every day he lived. Afterward 6,891 days. That's how continued Vincent Esposito suffered. That's how continued my Johnson fabricated abiding he remembered. For accurate steps. That's all it took to change everything. Declared on those accomplished broiled decades ago, but the after effects never did. If this adventure confused you, bethink amends isn't consistently swift, but it's consistently final. Subscribe for added untold belief from Harlem's history.